Welcome to Rambling with Rainstorm Live. I'm your host, Rainstorm Live, or Nick, if we plan on keeping it casual. Life. What a funny little thing. We spend our entire lives living it, but when we get to the end, do we really know what we've done and what we've accomplished? It may seem silly that I am talking about life, because most of my episodes so far have been on popular movies and media that I like. But honestly, I think sometimes we just have to keep it real. And by keeping it real, I'm going to be talking about life. Because honestly, in my personal life, I've gone through a lot recently, and I'm not going to lay it all out here because I don't endorse parasocial behaviors, but I think it's important sometimes that people understand that the creators that they're fans of are still people too, who have real lives and real struggles that they deal with, especially when creators are put on such a high pedestal. In my personal life recently, in the winter months, I've been getting hit with a little bit of seasonal depression, meaning I've been having a bit of lack of motivation to do things, and that includes recording this podcast episode. The podcast is not stopping. Yeah, I'm just cutting it a little close with this episode. I'm gonna be honest. I'm recording this at basically midnight, so this comes out in 3 hours from whenever it's published, I guess. But yeah, seasonal depression can hit me pretty hard sometimes, where all I want to do is just lay in bed and wait for winter to end. Basically hibernating like a bear, which isn't always the best solution, especially because I also have regular depression and anxiety, and I've dealt with those for quite a while. But I think that if I wasn't pushing myself to stream 3 times a week and make a YouTube video every other Monday, or well, at least publish a YouTube video every other Monday, and the podcast episodes coming out every other Tuesday on opposite weeks of those videos, I don't know where I would be. Because when I started creating content in 2022, that's when I started putting somewhat effort into this job. And if I was not doing that still, I don't know what I would be doing. I mean, I'd probably have quite a bit more free time, but with that free time, would I actually be doing anything beneficial with my time? Or would I be laying in bed doom scrolling? And I don't think that doom scrolling is beneficial to me when I have things to be doing. I have noticed, honestly, since I've gotten this job and started putting so much more effort into it, that my life has gotten a bit more better. That word just doesn't make sense. A bit more better. But it's how makes sense to me to explain it to you, who is listening to this and maybe realizing maybe I should pick up a new hobby. I mean, honestly, hobby is great. You have a guitar but you don't know how to play it, go learn. You want to learn that video game, haven't been doing it, try it. Try it out. You have the game. You make time, guys. Honestly, make time for the little things in life. That's probably something you'd read in a motivational quote book, and don't get me wrong, I hate motivational quote books sometimes. Or Instagram posts, for that matter. I don't need to see the words, "You got this," in front of a Starbucks cup, for that matter, at 3 p.m. on a Tuesday. That won't motivate me to go and do things. But seeing that thing that I have to do, or having a commitment that I've not only made to myself, but to my friends and to you who is listening to this, that helps keep me motivated to doing this. And I honestly, there's a creator. He's a fellow podcaster. And I admire this podcaster's work so much. They're Melancholy and Bacon. You can find them pretty much on anything. But they had a podcast episode a while ago talking about the one thing. And that honestly inspired me so much. And it kind of left me wondering, what is my one thing? I really would recommend going and not only listening to their entire podcast, but specifically that episode, because it really puts a lot of things into perspective for you. What is your one thing? That's what he asked. And I don't know what my one thing is, but I don't have to know yet. But I honestly had no podcast ideas for this. Like, this podcast episode was between talking about life and just keeping it real for a minute, or the different kinds of apples and my opinions on them. And honestly, I thought that this episode, just keeping it real, would be so much more beneficial, because it's getting to that point in the colder months for anyone in the northern hemisphere where everything gets kind of bleak. We're getting darker as we go closer to the winter solstice, and everything's just kind of getting harder. You know, it's getting harder to see, it's getting harder to drive, it's getting harder to stay warm. And I wanted to talk about how making a commitment, not only to yourself, but to other people, can help prove that you can do things even when you feel incredibly unmotivated. Now, I'm not saying don't take a day off every once in a while to reconnect with yourself or your friends or your family. I'm not telling you to push yourself so hard that you can't focus on anything but the thing anymore. I'm saying try picking up a new hobby. Even if it's something you do once a week for 10 minutes. Pick up a new hobby. Go outside. Go to a coffee shop and just sit down and enjoy the environment. Go sit in your front yard or your backyard. Go do something. And I know this is not my usual podcast episodes, and it's pretty early on for me to be hitting you with this drastic change, but I'm being so serious with you when I tell you, go do something. It will help. I promise. It is help, even if you don't think it is. It's still helping you do something other than doom scrolling. And I think that's so very important. And I really hope for anybody that's listening to this podcast that you will pick something up and go try it. Whatever that thing is, it doesn't matter. But go try it, and please, please, please go listen to Melancholy and Bacon. Their podcast is incredible, and honestly, so beneficial to listen to. I want to say thank you for being here. Genuinely. Even if you don't tune in to every episode, or watch every YouTube video, or listen to every stream, I just want to say thank you for being here. Genuinely. Because not only does it help keep me motivated, but it helps create a sense of community, for me at least, that does help keep me motivated. And it helps me see what my viewers are interested in. And honestly, this is probably getting into more technical bits that I don't actually need to talk about. But I still wanted to, because I still think it's important. It's important to me, and while we're keeping it real, it can be hard sometimes to do things like content creation, because your views don't spike to 1 million right away the way you see some creators, and it can get discouraging. But if you just do the thing to do it because you want to, and then something comes out of that, or even if nothing comes out of that, it's such a great and unique experience to be able to say, yeah, I tried to do that thing. Maybe it didn't work, but I still did that thing. And I'm so sorry if the audio quality on this is bad. My mic is just tweaking out all the time. I don't know why. But thank you for being here. And thank you for staying. And I think that's all I have to say. But it really does mean a lot that you're here. So, once again, thank you. That seems to be all for today. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of Rambling with Rainstorm Live. If you've got anything you want me to talk about, send in an email at contact@rainstormlive.com. That's CONTACT @RAINESTORMLIVE.com. Talk to you next time, okay? And thanks for tuning in and being here. It means a lot to me. This is your host, Rainstorm Live, signing off.